Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on another Sandia Mountain Natural History Center quick trip. You know, we are almost 250 videos into this channel. I've done things all over the state. I've done a ton of videos in the mountains behind me, the Sandia Mountains, but we have never really talked about what makes these mountains so special, and they really are special. There are only 5 places in the world where you can find mountains like this. So we're going to go for a little ride and discover what's special about the Sandias. Stick with us. Most of our videos that are shot here in the Sandia Mountains are actually filmed over near where the Sandia Mountain Natural History Center is, and that is on the east side of the mountains. But most people know the Sandias for this view, the west side of the mountains. Albuquerque is just down below us. But there's so many incredible things about these mountains. For one, they're very young mountains, but they're made of some incredibly old rock. These mountains are only about, it kind of depends on who you talk to, about 10 million years old seems to be a general consensus. But they're made up of some rocks that are well over 1 billion years old. So this rock is very common here in the Sandias, but it shouldn't be taken for granted. Actually, it should be taken for granted because that's exactly what it is, about 1.4 billion years old. That is some old rock. So remember what I said? The Sandias are young mountains built of old rock. This is the old rock. So here's some lichen growing on this granite, some here, some different lichen here. What's interesting is lichen doesn't grow on every type of rock. The amazing thing that I always find about this granite is it is ancient magma that has cooled. I was in a giant pool of magma under the Earth's crust, and then as the mountains formed, it was pushed up. So many people have a good understanding of how most mountains are formed. They're formed like the Rocky Mountains, like we have up in Santa Fe, by something called uplift. 2 plates of earth smashing into each other and buckling up. Another common way is volcanoes, like the Jemez Mountains, Mount Taylor, or the little mountains just west of Albuquerque. But the Sandias are very rare. You would have to go to Germany, Siberia, Africa, or Antarctica to find another set of mountains just like these, because they're formed in what's called a rift valley. And in a rift, what's happening is the Earth's crust is actually separating. And as it separates, it drops down and kind of forces the mountains up on the side. Very rare mountains, only 5 places in the world like the Sandias. Another crazy thing about Sandia Mountain geology can sort of be seen here. I hope the camera picks it up. But on the very top of the mountain, those gray rocks are limestone. And then the big escarpment down below, that is all granite. But the granite is about 1.4 billion years old, and the limestone is about 300 million years old. And the problem is there's no rocks in between. It's called an unconformity, and it's one of the most spectacular ones in the world, which is why this one is called the Great Unconformity. No one knows where that approximately billion years of Earth's history in the rocks is here. Did it erode away before the limestone was formed? Or did something else strange happen? We are in New Mexico, maybe it was aliens. So the Sandia Mountains have had many different names over the years. Native Americans, some tribes call it the Big Mountain. Some tribes call it Turtle Mountain. Sandia is a Spanish word for watermelon. And one of the common beliefs is that the Spanish found gourds here that they mistook for watermelon. But the other common thing is found right here in this rock. If you look, it's kind of hard to see, but in certain light, this granite takes on a pink hue. And that pink hue made people think of watermelon and thus watermelon mountains. You know, this spot where I'm riding, it's called the Elena Gallegos open space. But what's amazing is the foresight of the city of Albuquerque is set aside back in the 1970s, I believe. And then the citizens of Albuquerque actually voted for a tax increase so they could purchase this and keep it from being developed. So way to go, citizens of Albuquerque.